Good morning, Kingsley community. Pastor Colleen Wehrman here with the Kingsley United Methodist Church, and I'm coming to you with another daily devotion for Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, last day of the Ignatian Workout for Lent by Tim Muldoon. God is love. Okay, that's what we're going to end on. Then tomorrow we'll start, Randy Elkhorn's Biblical Answers to Common Questions About Heaven, 10 of them. Then you might want to go out and get this book. I'm not going to do it all, but it's Prevail, 365 Days of Enduring Strength from God's Word. I think we could use some enduring strength this year from Susan Larson. So, again, I'm not going to read the whole book. You need to go out and buy it. Give those authors some money. Most of them put their money back into ministries anyway, so do it. Not those prosperity preachers on the internet. Not all of them are, but a lot of them are. If you want to know the name of some of them, I'll be happy to tell you. God is love. 1 John 4, 16 through 21. God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them. Love has been perfected among us in this, that we may have boldness on the day of judgment, because as He is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not reached perfection in love. We love because He first loved us. Those who say, I love God, and hate their brothers or sisters are liars. For those who do not love a brother or sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. The commandment we have from Jesus, Him, is this: those who love God must love their brothers and sisters also. Tim writes, perfect love casts out fear. Quote from John, actually. Writes the author of this letter, he is right. Those on a mission accept that there will be highs and lows, moments of exhaustion and moments of difficulty. What is important when one is on a mission is to keep going until it is completed, mindful that God's grace sustains us along the way. Choosing to follow Jesus does not guarantee happiness in the way people often imagine it. Rather, it guarantees love. Both the knowledge that God loves us deeply and unconditionally, and assurance that our living in love will lead us outward to share it with others. The words of Father Somebody, from the Brothers of Somebody, right? Strive to love your neighbor actively and I don't know what that word is. Help. INDE, indefatigably. INDEFATIGABLY. Somebody pronounce that for me, please. In as far as you advance in love, you will grow sure of the reality of God and of the immorality of your soul. If you attain to perfect self-forgetfulness in the love of your neighbor, then you will believe without doubt, and no doubt can possibly enter your soul. This has been tried. This is certain. Tim continues, happiness often will be a byproduct of love, the way good feelings often are the byproduct of exercise. But we do not exercise only for good feelings, and we do not follow Jesus only for happiness. We set our eyes on the goal and pursue it with great resolve. For in the end, love is the only good worth seeking in this life or in the next. So he went along, this devotional is talking about perfect love casts out fear. Now I would have went along with, I would have probably done this devotion as we love because God first loved us. And in the Wesleyan tradition, John Wesley, he talks about prevenient grace, which is the love of God before we even know to love God, before we even decide to love God. God loved us first. So I love that, prevenient grace. Prayer. Today, Lord, here's this prayer. This is from St. Ignatius of Loyola. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will, all I have and call my own. You have given all to me. To you, Lord, I return it. Everything is yours. Do with it what you will. Give me only your love and your grace. That is enough for me. So our action plan, make a plan to integrate prayer into your daily life. And we say, oh, I pray every day. Do you? Maybe you do. Sometimes I forget. Do not let the experience of this period of reflection stay in the past. Keep it active by finding time, resources, and support to help you abide in the vine that is Christ's body, the church. And from that prayer, plan how you will continue to discern the good toward which God is calling you to act. So I believe that he's talking about God is love, which is part of his characteristic. It's not a feeling. We know love is not a feeling. So when you say, I fell out of love with my spouse, you chose to not show love to your spouse. You chose to look elsewhere for love. So don't give us that baloney about you fell out of love. That's baloney. You chose it because love is not a feeling, it's an action. An action, that means love that endures through difficult times in relationships, love that endures in sickness and in health. Remember those vows you took? In sickness and in health? Love continues, and love is the thing that lasts forever because love is an eternal. When you love someone and show love in action like God did when he sent his only son, get it? Action, love. When Jesus died on the cross for the sins of the world, action, love. So when you show love, it's an eternal thing that will continue forever and ever and ever. That's why faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love because it lasts forever. Because you don't need faith for forever in heaven because Jesus will be there. You don't need hope in heaven because you'll already be there, but you'll always love. So love is huge, and a lot of us don't want to do it. We just want to say, I'm sure there's something better on the other side of the road. I'm sure there's grass is greener on the other side of the, sidewalk. We got almost a 60% divorce rate right now. That's huge. That's huge. And I think it's 56%. And in Christians, it's higher. Hello, the ones who are supposed to know to practice love in action. So I don't know where you're at today in your relationship, but if you're having a rocky time in your relationship and you guys can't seem to figure it out, go to a pastor, talk to them. Don't expect them to do marriage counseling unless they're a marriage counselor with some letters past their name. I love it when pastors think they're counselors. Do you know a counselor said to me once, you know what we spend our first couple of sessions doing? Undoing what you guys did. And that stuck in my head for forever. I've never considered myself a counselor, but what I can do is I can start with letting each person speak and let each person be heard. And then after that, I shoo you away to a counselor with letters after their name. So there's no shame in that. Go to a counselor. Early in our marriage, we went to one as well. That's where I found out that I'm a babbling brook and my husband is a Dead Sea. So he doesn't share enough and I share too much. So we had to figure that out. But it's okay. Go, do. Love is an action. If you don't feel like loving your spouse today, just remember what God did for you. God first loved you before you, A, deserved it, B, you ever knew about it, and C, because that's who God is. So we are going to start this tomorrow. Biblical answers to common questions, 10 of them. And again, go out and buy, if you'd like, Prevail from Susan Larson. I don't know who she is. I'm not saying that anything about it. All I know is that she's a Christian author and her devotions are pretty short. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm not going to do all 365, but you might want to get it and do all 365 yourself. And then what's nice about these is you can, I don't think they have dates on them, do they? No, they just have like day 237. So you can put this away after you've read it next year and pull it out again. You'll remember some of it, but you probably won't remember all of it. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So until then, I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy a little bit of sunshine we have out there. Yes, I saw that it was snowing, but we're going to pretend that we didn't see the snow, right? Because it'll melt and it'll be fine. So, yeah, love. God is love. And everybody's like, God is love. He's squishy and he's so love. God is also just. Because God is love, he cannot let sin go unjudged. So that's why he sent his son in love, because he so loved the world. Not that he so hated the world, he so loved the world. So when we say, oh my gosh, this world is going to H-E double toothpicks in a handbasket, it's coming to its end. And so we as Christians need to spread the love of God, the action love. And I can tell you what, if you're going to serve in a church, expect it to be painful. Expect to run into that person that you can't stand and learn how to love. That's how you learn how to love in a safe space. As I've said before, some of the meanest people I've ever met are church people. Because we're all learning how to love one another. And some of us want to learn, and some of us try to learn, and some of us don't want to learn. But when we go back to what Jesus did for us and how God loved us so much before we were ever in existence, He sent his son. He had a plan. So, when you choose to look at your spouse and go, why did I ever marry you? You ever have that? As they're sitting there on the couch, click, 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 listening to their phone, loud, 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 loud. You go to turn the channel. I was watching that. No, you weren't. You were listening to your phone. Maybe it's just, hey, I'd like to watch this. Do you mind? They probably say, fine. And women, if you say, I do everything around this place, ask him for help. If you're going to send him to the grocery store, give him a list. 1 gallon of milk. 1 thing of potatoes. And tell him exactly what it is. And I know there's some guys that do all the shopping anyway. And I know there's a lot of guys that cook. I am not the greatest cook. But I try when I can, and then I say to him, can you cook on Sundays, please? Because I'm busy. He's like, yes. And so he does. We've been married a long time, 24 years. Good Lord. There's people that have been married 60 years. And so it's a love action, not a feeling. Because I'm sure after the first 2 years, you've fallen out of love, is what you call it. Or the first 7 years. No, you've just chose to not love anymore. You've chose not to put the work in. You've chose to go in another direction. That's not what God did. He didn't go in another direction. He went full force to the cross to show his love for us. So, love your spouse. They're a gift from God. Even if today they don't seem like one. Do something nice for them. Show love. And maybe for me, that's just, you're not going to say anything today. Anybody else out there? Amen? So God is love. Let's be love for the world because they need it. They need it desperately. All right. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day. And if somebody knows what that word is that I asked to phonetically spell out, please do. Hey, we can't all know everything, right? All right. See you tomorrow. Bye.